Georgia, really nice to chat with you. How's your day going?
Yeah, really good, Andrew. Fabulous to chat to you too.
Fantastic. So we're going to be talking about Six, the musical, which is, I haven't seen it yet, but I've listened to the music. I've seen how big the show is and how big it's been overseas, and it's a real modern interpretation. How are you feeling about being a part of it? What's it been like from your perspective?
It's honestly been the best time so far. I love being a part of this show for a few reasons. It's an amalgamation of a lot of my favorite things. So we've got a musical, we've got a pop concert, and we've got girl power essentially and history.
Yeah.
I've been able to delve into the history of these Tudor queens and who they really were and how the writers have made them into these pop stars. So it's really this amalgamation of all these different things that makes this musical so special, and I'm loving it.
There's that saying about truth being stranger than fiction. And there is
Mhm.
something about this story and Henry VIII, just what a larger than life tyrant he was, but also these women who were really influential, particularly Anne Boleyn, actually, in the future of England's history.
Mm.
So when you've been looking at that history, what things have popped up for you?
I don't even know where to start. But so you're right. Anne Boleyn was really influential, but I think I'm going to vouch for my queen, Catherine
Of course,
Parr.
yes, you can. Of course, you
Um,
can.
she is kind of written in the history books that were written by men, obviously, as Henry's nurse. So she's written as the one that nursed him in his old age, as he was kind of withering away. He was quite awful mentally and physically at the time that she met him. But that's not quite the case. Historians have found recently that she wouldn't have been nursing him. He had other people to do that for him. She was the first queen to ever publish her own books, psalms and prayers and meditations. And she was actually a really influential woman in the life of Elizabeth I. I think Catherine really made her mark on history as well because she was the first queen to publish these books. She was also a Protestant. So at the time, that was really sort of rebellious of her. And that links into Anne Boleyn as well, as you say, because Elizabeth was Anne Boleyn's daughter. So there's that beautiful connection there too. So
And
lots of history.
Elizabeth did live with Catherine Parr
She did.
for a while.
She
Yeah.
did. Yeah. Yeah. They lived together. And then, look, Catherine Parr sent her away. Um,
Because
I
her husband was being very naughty, to put it.
horrendous. Yeah,
Yeah.
look, and I've listened to so many podcasts and read a lot of books on this, and so many people have kind of different views when it comes to whether Catherine knew about that or not. Of course, playing her every night, I kind of would like to think that she didn't know and she sent Elizabeth away to protect her from Thomas. And when she does die a tragic death like these other queens, she dies in childbirth. She her the people around her ask her if she wants Thomas there, and Thomas comes into the room and she's kind of screaming in this fever like, I don't want him here. There's nothing he can do for me. So in her final moments, she didn't really want him, which tells me that potentially she didn't like what he was doing either.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Not an easy time to be a woman,
Oh my
really.
gosh,
You
no.
know, and often were married because they needed to. And in fact, in your song, "I Don't Need Your Love," is all about that. She says,
Yeah.
"I had no choice.
Yeah.
Women had to marry, particularly aristocratic
Yeah.
women. They had to marry, and they had to marry well. And if
Yeah.
the King of England says, 'I want you as my bride,' what do you do?"
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So obviously with my queen's quite interesting again because she's the last queen. She's actually the queen that had already been previously married quite a few times. And she didn't really have a choice. Once he saw her and decided that he wanted to court her, she couldn't really say no. It's either marry him or die, really. Yeah.
And so what now is your opinion of her? You kind of shared her skills, what we don't know about her. But do you have a feeling of affinity for her, a connection to her somehow?
I really do. I really do. Yeah. Honestly, out of all the queens, I feel like I can relate to Parr the most. I think she was really calculated and intelligent, because as I say, she was this Protestant. And so, and at the time, obviously, it was the Church of England. So she wasn't allowed to be Protestant. It was, you know, it was heresy. She had books that she was hiding in her rooms from Henry.
I wanted to ask you, obviously you're playing a character. There are structure within the musical that you need to follow, but is there room there for you to interpret her yourself, to have a little bit of something that is you channeling her?
Absolutely. Firstly, can I say how much I love talking about history and how much we could chat about it? It's fabulous.
Yep.
Absolutely. So again, with our director, she kind of speaks about how we need to draw on these three kind of main points, which is draw on the real Catherine Parr, what the history books tell us about her, and then draw on your pop persona. So for me, and the song I sing, I kind of draw inspiration from Alicia Keys, Georgia Smith, Solange Knowles, these kind of artists. So we've got those two, and then you also bring yourself. So there's an element of it's literally me, Giorgia Kennedy, on stage too. It's actually the blending of these three things, which is sometimes tricky to do, but it's also a great challenge. So yeah, it's about bringing all those different elements to the character.
I read a review that was very positive about you and said that you had quite a nuanced and emotional side to the performance. So do you feel emotion when you're, you know, is it an emotional performance for you?
It is. And yeah, and actually sometimes some nights you kind of have to gauge when you feel like, you know, you're so in it that the emotion could take you too far to a point where you can't see. So that's kind of, you know, the balancing act that you have to play, or kind of the tightrope you have to walk on every night too. But with my song in particular, I love bringing that emotion to the song, because really it's a love letter to Thomas Seymour at a time when she was really in love with him, and she wanted to marry the love of her life, and she's going, I can't. If I marry you, I will die. So I actually have to believe that this marriage to Henry is going to be about me making England, you know, a Protestant country. And she has to kind of believe that within herself for this marriage to be okay for her. You know, I think that's the reasoning that gets her through the day, because she was a hopeless romantic from all accounts. She really was. She was so smart, so intelligent. And she also was potentially a bit blindsided. No, she was actually in the end. She was blindsided by this love that she had for this man. So yeah, I love getting to play with that every night.
Well, that's a really wonderful place to be when you're performing a very famous figure from history. Giorgia, thanks so much for your time. I'm looking forward to, it's a few months away, but I'm really looking forward to the show coming here. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much. We are so excited. We can't wait. Thank you, Andrew.